One of the last things I said to some people who was out having dinner at their house one night, and they were showing me stuff about what they found about Yahweh, and I wasn't sure, were they testing me, or
They didn't know it.
did they not know any better, or were they screwing with me?
You got to realize that people. I grew up in a time where everything was God or Lord.
Yeah.
We didn't have Jehovah or Yahweh or
No.
Adonai or any of those names to throw
Yeah.
out there. And there's a reason for that, because the Jews in the 3rd century didn't want to use the name because they said it's a sacred name and would mispronounce it and it's blasphemy.
Right.
So when the Greek, the Septuagint, was translated, they never used anything but God and Lord. That's all. And in Greek it was Theos or Christos or Kyrios or whatever the Greek word implied. But
Right.
King James turned it into 2 names, God and Lord. We're confused already, but all that was to push monotheism.
Right. Right.
Even the Trinity document was because we were saying, when they said Jesus is God,
All got twisted up.
when they said Jesus is God, well, now you believe in 2 gods.
Right. Which X's us out from
Monotheism.
Judaism.
Yeah. Well, you can't believe in 2 gods.
And Islam's the same.
Right.
There's only one God.
Only one God.
Yeah. And so Christianity,
We come up with the Trinity.
But-
and at the same time, we went ahead and threw in the Holy Spirit to make it 3.
and then said it's called it one so that would stay monotheistic,
Right.
so they would not be enemies or disagree with
Right.
the Jewish.
Absolutely right. And up until of late, the last 100 years, did we start using what the Bible actually called the name of God. My point to all that is the people that were bringing all that up, they finally learned God's name. I know God's name.
Yeah.
That's how smart they think they are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use God's name. And it's those same people that have learned how to say Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll say Yahshua, and they'll put a Y-A-H on it because they think it's Yahweh saved.
That's right.
That's, again, what we've been taught and listened to. But the angel said his name will be Shua, salvation. You put the yes in front of it.
Great way to say it.
Yeah, you put the yes in front of it. That is not applied to that other guy.
No, Jesus spent his life explaining that Yahweh's not his daddy.
I think he did too.
Gets overshadowed, overlooked as we be taught. I was not taught that anywhere. Not at all. And, he had fulfilled the things of his father. Yes, but his father's not your daddy.
Well,
That's
the
what he
Bible
says.
says it's Father Son. It says I'm one and the same. Jesus didn't say,
Right.
me in heaven, hallowed as your name. He didn't do none of that.
No.
Okay, he always talked to a father. The Christian story, they had to make it one in essence for us to stay monotheistic.
But it makes no sense,
Well,
and
it
it's
was just a
counterproductive.
doctrine that they threw out there in the 3rd century.
We have no more to do with the Jewish faith than we do Islamic faith. We should be completely different.
We should be.
And-
but we had to saddle on to that.
Like I said, I got there's not as much trouble with the Old Testament as I do the Old Covenant, and I really believe that the New Covenant ought to be the focus. And
Well, if you're a Christian, it better be.
And
if you
a
decided I'm
revamping of-
Christian, I'm going to follow the ways of Jesus.
a vast revamping of what that all means. And it's not because times change and, oh God, yes, God remains the same. This is what he's been wanting all along, people. Your daddy's not my daddy. 18 years ago, y'all thought I was fantastic. Now you want to kill me. Why? Because he had miracles and signs and wonders besides wisdom and
He
knowledge?
said,
No.
But I say,
Yeah. You search your scriptures and you ignore the fact that it's talking about me.
well, I think it's talking, the Old Testament scriptures are talking about a Messiah.
Right.
And I think he was even trying to convince them I could be that guy. I think he was still trying to get them to come over to his side as well.
Sure he
So I'll
was.
tell you what you think you need to hear.
Well, who is it that you want to inform about what
But they never bought that.
Yeah, but what everything we've learned over your daddy's not my daddy, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit being the mother, who is it you want to explain this to? It's not so much the world that they're willing to accept it. Who needs to know it? God's people. Who did Jesus go to? God's people. Hey, you're zigging when you should be zagging.
Well, he went to Yahweh's people because Yahweh's people were wrong.
Right.
They needed him more than anybody to tell them that ain't God.
That's what I just said about a lot of the church today. I mean, how big would any of this go over in Catholic Church?
It's got to be part of this Fatima thing. It's got to be. They don't want
And we'll
this.
talk about it.
That's got to be part of it. That hey, we've been going the wrong direction here for some time.
Yeah. And it must be pretty bad because they believe they're going to lose face completely.
I contend that's why they took the name out, because they knew they were wrong. And if we can make you think we're all praying to the same God, we're not so wrong any longer. And as long as y'all want to jump onto this book with us, even if you don't believe everything we said and you've changed it up, I'm still good with that because you still believe our book.